Now, we are just weeks away from the Premier League's break for the World Cup, and three managers have been sacked so far. Scott Parker at Bournemouth, Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, and Bruno Lage at Wolves. And it is the last man on that list that we are focusing on today. Hello, and welcome to the Final Whistle podcast. My name is Harry, and today we're going to be looking at where Wolves go next to appoint their new manager. So the Portuguese manager, Bruno Lage, he led Wolves to a 10th place finish last season before being dismissed by the Midlands club after, frankly, a rubbish start to the season. They sat 18th in the league with just one win this season under his tenure, and it was this form that led the club to choose to take a different direction, with current caretaker manager Steve Davis taking over and beating Forest yesterday, which made me really happy. Not. Having lasted only 1 year in the job, the question moved to who is going to take over at Molineux. So early reports suggested that Julian Lopetegui was the man to take charge, obviously former Real Madrid and Spain manager. He's currently in charge at Sevilla and apparently had been interviewed and was set to take over before turning down the job. Now, this wasn't the first time he said no to Wolves. In 2016, when the club was bought by new, now current owners, he was the top choice to take over, but decided to take the Spain job instead. Obviously, Nuno Espirito Santo took over at the time and led them up to the Premier League, where they've sat ever since. So now that Lopetegui is out of the running, who is next on the list? Well, one surprising name that popped up was former Forest Green Rovers and Watford manager Rob Edwards. Now, Edwards won League Two last season with Forest Green before taking up the Watford job. However, he didn't last long at Vicarage Road. Positive ownership. It wasn't much of a surprise. But the former Wolves player, Rob Edwards, had apparently been interviewed by the club over the past 2 weeks. And to be fair, this news shocked many, not just Wolves fans, but journalists and fans of the English game in general. Now, Edwards, he was the England under-16s coach until 2021. He's also set to be rumoured to take several other jobs at the moment, including both Middlesbrough, who sacked Chris Wilder this season, as well as Hull, who are also in the Championship. So if Wolves do want Edwards, then they're going to have to move fast to scare off the competition. Another name being thrown about that fits with the Portuguese theme at Wolves is Ruben Amorim, who is currently in charge of Portuguese club Sporting. The 37-year-old led Sporting to their first league title in 19 years, and his side has impressed in the Champions League this season, beating both Tottenham 2-0 and Eintracht Frankfurt 3-0, respectively. However, Wolves may face several challenges in this approach, as it's rumoured that Amorim is keen to maybe stay at Sporting and not take the job at Molineux because he wants to stay and compete in the Champions League, which is obviously something Wolves cannot offer him. So we're many names in, and yet still no clear choice has popped up for the Wolves' top job. However, there is one man's name who is popping up more and more recently, and it is someone well known by the club's fan base, and that is, of course, this man, Nuno Espirito Santo. He led the club from 2017 until 2021 when he left to join Tottenham. His stint in London, though, didn't last very long, just over 3 months, in fact, before facing the sack by Daniel Levy and being replaced by Antonio Conte. Nuno obviously had a successful spell at Wolves, taking them out of the Championship, and many think that this would be the perfect opportunity for a fairy tale return to save them from relegation. However, others think it's time for a change in direction and the club shouldn't just go to the past for the sake of it. And if Nuno is the man thereafter, then he's going to have to leave his current job at Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia, a job he's only been in for 2 months. It's really not very long, and whether he'll be keen to move, we'll have to wait and see. It will be interesting to see what happens, though, at Wolves. And until a new manager is announced, caretaker manager Steve Davis is going to have to keep looking to improve results and lift them up the table. To stay up to date for more news and videos just like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video to show your support. Thank you for watching. That was the Final Whistle.